What is a generation? I ask this because the key to unlocking Jesus' Olivet Discourse is verse 34, as Jesus laid out his generational timeline. He said pretty clearly, "Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place." Ironically, opposite today's liberal scholars, many premillennialists will force a very non-literal interpretation on this verse. Yet both groups totally ignore prophetic language in the Old Testament. The skeptics just don't care, and the literalists will suggest, well, you know, in Scripture, a generation could last as long as 1,000 years. Now, call me crazy, but even by those standards, the shelf life of Jesus' prediction would have long passed. For crying out loud, we are now living after the turn of the second millennium. But don't worry. It gets better. Other premillennialists who want to hold to a more natural 40-year generation while still futurizing the passage teach that the doomsday clock began again with the birth of the modern nation of Israel in 1948. No, I'm not making this stuff up. And please don't think I'm mocking here. I'm really not. What I'm asking, however, is that if you hold this view, you take a step back and give a fresh look at your own claims about this text. Not so surprisingly, when the world didn't end in 1988, many of those who originally made this claim continued to change the definition of a generation, suggesting it could be as long as 100 years. Still others say that this generation referred to by Jesus in Matthew 24:34 is really the generation of unbelievers who will always be around until his second coming at the end of time. Again, I'm not trying to be critical here. The reason I'm telling you this is to demonstrate the absurdity of what many people teach so that you don't get swept up in the madness. In reality, all these loose interpretations of a generation fall dramatically short of the plain meaning of the word in the original language as it would have been understood by its original hearers.